Tracking our cool temperature pattern and more travel impacts as more storms head our way. I'm ABC 10 Chief Meteorologist Monica Woods. As far as the Sierra, we've got another weather impact alert going on Wednesday night through Thursday and Friday. Snow expecting to deliver big delays in the mountains, and extra travel time will be needed as we head into the middle and end of our work week with two separate waves moving through. Satellite and radar kind of showing the timeline and streamline of this weather event coming in from the Pacific. It's going to get a break here from the first weather system moving in and the next one behind. A good time to kind of reassess, is everything in the car or truck to head up the mountains with that winter gear in place. We had a lot of people get stuck for today. Now, since we've got this weather that's going to be rather active for the rest of the week, we're going to keep these in-depth forecasts and explainers going on ABC 10 Plus. Make sure you download that, have it available wherever you stream on TV. Speaking of the latest storm system, take a look at some of the backups. So many spinouts as we headed into the mountains. It didn't take much for folks to get stuck in the traffic delays up there. At times, those roadways were shut down. Now, as we headed into the afternoon, the valley looked dramatically different from the Sierra. We had blue skies by about 3 p.m. As for the Sierra, though, those traffic backups and delays, including some road shutdowns, were continuing in through the afternoon. Good thing is that we're starting to wind things down. Winter weather advisory will expire at midnight for the Sierra, and so we are starting to see some at least less effects from the weather system moving through. The back edge of this is starting to clear out. We've got some nice showers going for Southern California, but the impacts remain for the Sierra for a couple more hours, just simply because icy roads trying to get Caltrans to clear those roads, not to mention the spinouts that we've had and some of those trucks and cars that were on the side of the road. So a lot of cleanup effort is underway. Precipitation totals were decent, about 1/10 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch throughout the valley. Slightly higher amounts for the foothills and a couple of inches of snow for the Sierra, much of what we were expecting heading into today. And unfortunately, the timeline just was not fantastic for today, given all the parades that we were looking at throughout the region. Our futurecast showing a bit of patchy low cloudiness developing early tomorrow for our Tuesday morning commute. Outside of that, clearing skies. Next band of wet weather starts to press our way during the day on Wednesday. Now, the morning starts off dry. It's during the afternoon that we start to see this band of rain move through, and it just kind of opens the door for more waves to come through. I'm not going to put any weather impact alerts in place Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday for the valley, simply because when I show you the precipitation totals, it'll be pretty average for this time of year, whereas the snow will have higher impacts, just simply because once we put snow on the mountain passes, it does delay travel, spinouts, road closures, what have you. It's all the winter stuff that we deal with. So the timeline looks like this. Tuesday, unseasonably cool weather. Wednesday, we've got the evening showers developing. Snow level at 6,500 feet. Our passes are at about 7,200. So this is going to put snow below the passes. That snow level actually drops on Thursday to 6,000 feet, bottoming out on Friday to about 4,500 feet. That's going to mean chain controls are going to be pretty low in elevation and really slow going over the passes. Satellite and radar with the bigger perspective. Again, we had some nice showers moving through Southern California. Not quite as impressive as what we saw in Northern California, but nice to see that moisture moving through. And as far as our rainfall total for the month, we're at 5,500ths of an inch. That is pretty much right on the money where we should be for the month. Average for the entire month is closer to about 1 3/4 of an inch. We still have more time. And again, we've got more systems coming through this week. I did want to show you this. I thought this was pretty interesting. So I showed you that we've had 3 days of rain in the month of November, equaling about 1/2 an inch. Let's just round it out there. So that's pretty close to what we saw in May, but that was a 1-day total. We saw over 6/10 of an inch of rain in 1 day in May, whereas in November, we've seen 1/2 an inch over a 3-day period. So that just shows you the difference storm systems can make here. And as far as November, it's nice to kind of see the rain cycle picking up because it had been so dry for several months. Statewide precipitation, we haven't picked up too much in Southern California yet. Those rain totals still starting to come up here. Northern California, some decent rainfall amounts since the beginning of the water year, October 1st, but we're running a deficit for almost all of California. November is kind of one of those months it's hit and miss. We either see a big boom in our rain cycle, or we're just on the drier side and it's slow going to get everything started. Headlines with our weather impact alert will continue to track the mountain travel delays, unseasonably cool temperatures, and more rain and snow ahead as well. Now, I did want to show you the difference that we'll see in our temperature pattern. The storm track starts to move really far to the south. Low pressure system moving in is going to pull in and kind of drag in some of that cooler air from the north, blanketing the entire west. Our lows will be dropping into the 30s some nights, and afternoon highs running about 10 to almost 15 degrees below average. So not only are we going to have the rain, but it's going to feel really cold out as well. Our lows over the next 7 days, we kind of run about average Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, even into Friday morning, simply because we have the cloud cover. That helps to keep the warmer air closer to the surface. Clouds clear, and we pick up those lows in the 30s heading into the weekend forecast. So the showers that you see here on Saturday are mainly going to be confined to the foothills and the Sierra. The valley should be drying out here heading into Saturday morning, but it is going to be quite chilly out there. Model rainfall totals. This is what I was mentioning earlier. Not too impressive for this time of year. Closer to about 1/4 inch of rain in the valley, about 1/2 inch for the foothills. North of I-80, we'll see upwards of about 1 inch to 1.5 inches over a 3-day period. The snowfall amounts are more impressive. We pick up about 1 inch to 12 inches of snow, and that snow line comes down. So places like Pollock Pines getting in on some of that snow, as well as Emigrant Gap, Twin Bridges. Those are places that usually see some snow. Arnold, perhaps 3 inches of snow. That's a little lower, especially for a November storm, just showing the cold nature of what's coming in. Taking a look at the wider picture now from that Wednesday through Thursday, Friday storm cycle, we'll see the first wave develop right along that I-80 line right about 5 o'clock on Wednesday. So in time for the evening commute. Snow a little slower to go here. It'll start to spread into the Tahoe Basin by mid-afternoon to the evening on Wednesday. We get a break on Thursday morning, and then Thursday afternoon is when that next wave comes through. That's decent enough Thursday afternoon, but then we start to dry out. So as far as Friday night football, I know we have a lot of playoffs going on. It does appear that we'll start to dry things out. The fields may be a little bit soggy, but it doesn't look like right now that we're going to have active rain going on for the playoffs if they start at 5. Now, anybody that's starting earlier might have some problems there, especially if you're playing a little bit higher in elevation. Snow lingers, by the way, Friday evening at 11 o'clock, but it starts to taper off by Saturday. Our 8 to 14 day climate outlook. Now, this is going to be edging a little closer to Thanksgiving. The likely cooler setup is going to be shifting its way east, but it hangs in for Southern California. And as far as the likely wetter, that's also going to be shifting its way east, whereas Northern California getting into a likely drier pattern, as well as Southern California. And again, that's going to be putting us right on track into our Thanksgiving week. It is 17 days until Thanksgiving. Can you believe it? We're about 2.5 weeks away. Winter solstice, 39 days, and 44 for Christmas Day, 51 until we're ringing in the new year, 2025. So it's all about the holiday season right now. As far as our highs for tomorrow, 40s for the Sierra, 50s and low 60s into the foothills. And again, a dry day for tomorrow. Good day to perhaps do some of that storm cleanup. I saw a lot of leaves clogging some gutters for today and some areas that had a little bit of water running off into the roads. Highs in the 60s along the coast. We're in the 60s inland. A little bit warmer than today. We'll just have more access to sun than we did for today. Lots of clouds kept us on the cooler side this afternoon. 60s for afternoon highs throughout the valley. Morning lows in the 30s and 40s. On and off showers remain in the 5-day forecast for the Sierra. For the foothills, we'll also see areas of rain Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. On Friday, that's going to be a really chilly day. In the foothills, highs only in the mid to upper 40s. And for the coast, we've got on and off rain chances there. Highs will stay right about 60. A look at the 3-day forecast. We have the rain reappearing back in our outlook late Wednesday and again late Thursday. Highs staying about 10 degrees below average, and then even cooler by Friday. Our high only 56 degrees. Then we start to see a shift to those cold overnight lows in the 30s with mostly clear skies, generally staying cool into next week as well. Highs will be right around 60 with morning lows in the 30s.